12 on my hands, cause I eggs on that stress for me. It's just shaking. Let's react to some videos. In this live, reacting to this guy, VonTooCut. I've been watching this guy for a long time now. And I really like the way he speaks. I really like the topics he speaks about. He was a spiritual YouTuber. For y'all that don't know, in the past he was a spiritual YouTuber. He was making spiritual videos like spiritual soul, like spiritual Tony. There are a lot of guys that be making videos like Infinite Waters, right? I was watching this guy back in the past for a long time. He was making them spiritual videos, and I really like the way he speaks. And he has a lot of knowledge, he has a lot of wisdom, he has a lot of cumulative experiences, deep knowledge, cumulative experiences. Yeah, and he really good expression ability. So yeah, that's why I feel like previous lives, I feel like reacting to him again. I really want to try to give my opinion on what he says. We're gonna learn a lot today, probably. To it. Video. I did react to some video. I remember. Yeah, I think he was in China, right? Vietnam. I'm feeling sleepy for some reason. I think it's 11. It's 11 p.m. It's about to be 11:54. It's about to be 12 p.m. man. Feeling too sleepy. Feeling too sleepy.
What is success to you, and where did you learn it from? Right?
Alright, let's get into it.
What is success to you, and where did you learn it from? Right?
Success to me is being able to control your urges, your impulses. What else? It's primarily about self-control, and this is what most people lack. It's also about courage in necessary situations. A lot of people would agree about this, right? So, I mean, the ability to have self-control, yeah, that also includes courage in necessary situations, right? It's about maintaining good well-being, and it's about what else? Yeah, I think that's it, man. I don't know, like, because now if we talk about like the ideal state, like of success, then I would talk about like things that are unrealistic. That would include perfect existence, right? So I mean, this is a success. This is the ideal state of existence for a lot of people. They might not admit it, right? But it is like. I mean, we tend to attribute like this character, like perfection to a god, right? To the creator of the universe. But deep down, subconsciously, a lot of us actually like want this state. We want to exist in this state. We want to have no needs, right? We want to have no weaknesses. And this is what perfection is. And this is the ideal state, right? So success for me, like, I mean, from an ideal state, from an achievable state, is basically existing in a perfect state, right? So this is success. I would be successful if I were to exist in a perfect state. But if we are being realistic, then success as a human being for me is more about self-control. It's primarily about self-control. It's about maintaining well-being. I mean, there could be other things that I haven't thought of now, but this is like what it's primarily about.
a lot of, I'll say women as well too, we tend to get our early imaginations and our perceptions of success from athletes, right? Nobody ever taught us what success was. My mama never sat me down and said, this is what success.
Not just athletes, but famous people in general. Also about like, and it doesn't also doesn't. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of people they tend to drive success. I mean, they tend to when they think of success, they tend to think of famous people, right? Celebrities, not just athletes, because they tend to associate success with financial success, with fame, with status. But as I said, it's not the same for everyone. For some people, it's about control. It's about controlling one's desires, right? It's about controlling one's impulses. It's about maintaining good well-being. This is the case with me personally. It's more than just like a status. None of this stuff, man. None of the materialistic stuff really matters to me, to be honest, because as much as what I said, I just want to live like a comfortable life. That's it. Like this is just an extra. Status, fame, and all of that is just an extra for me. All this materialistic stuff, man.
It's like we never success.
I mean, yeah, the materialistic stuff that come with success, all of that. I mean, them houses, them cars, and them watches, all of that. That doesn't mean anything to me, to be honest. It's just an extra. Like, I mean, like, does that even matter? Like, if one doesn't have good health, good mental well-being, if they're sick, for example, like they have cancer, right? So, I mean, like, does it really matter? Like, can you really enjoy that? If you're in a bad, like, mental, physical state, like, you get what I'm saying? This is the problem. Health before everything else. I'm talking about, like, well-being, mental well-being, talking psychologically, right? Being in good psychological health, you know what I'm saying? Like, physical health as well, right? And also being in control, because like I mean I hate like to be honest, like when I tend to not control myself when it comes to sexual urges, for example. I hate when I tend to fall for that stuff, man. I'm right now currently in abstinence for like about 45 days, I think. I haven't busted a nut in that long. And I'm starting to notice that like my ability to control myself is starting to increase. I think it probably has to do with the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for decision making, right? Problem solving, decision making, logic. Because when you tend to go right, you tend to damage the exact area responsible for decision. And the area for logic is not functioning. Like at the moment of urges, you're not using logic. You are driven by the urges. You are driven, you get what I'm saying? So there is no use of logic. That's why you cannot resist. That's why you feel like controlled. You cannot think rationally. You cannot think about the consequences, right? You might think about the consequences, but you are constantly being overwhelmed by the urges. It's like you are unable to make decisions, right? You know that this is wrong. You keep falling for it many times. You keep going, right? You keep failing terrible again and again and again, but you keep falling for the same trap because of this poor decision making. I mean, and it has to do with this gooning stuff. It really like weakens the decision making. Logic, yeah, it has to do something with it, to be honest, because I just can't seem to be able to think logically or make any rational decision, right? When I'm in the moments of these urges, like I'm just like a fucking animal that's acting according to its instincts, if that makes sense. It's like I'm no longer a human with value systems, with logic, with rationality. And a lot of things that I tend to do because for example going in and all of that, I mean a lot of things from the past, like they don't align with my conscious. They are driven by biology, yes, they are biological. I mean, Yeah. Sometimes there is this conflict between the biological system, right? I mean, the biological system is the system as a whole, but there is a conflict like between these urges, right? So these urges, like I mean, there are biological mechanisms responsible for these urges, right? The sexual natural urges. I mean, so there is this conflict between this biological mechanism and the conscious mind, because like what I value consciously is different. I tend to value knowledge. I tend to value self-control. I tend to value like health. So the criteria I value, like I prioritize, like with my conscious, or I value like uh, I value consciously are different. Like I don't prioritize these things. These things are biological, they are natural, right? But they don't align with my conscious. Like gooning, having sex, all of that. They don't align with my conscious. That's not something I prioritize or value, right? So there's this conflict between like the between biology and like the conscious system, this biological mechanism responsible for these urges, and the conscious system that prioritizes other things like knowledge, like health, like self-control. So this is the problem, and I don't really like it. I mean this conflict tends to lead to a lot, like for me, like for instance, it tends to lead to a lot of psychological problems, right? A lot of side effects like stress, like anxiety, like this and that. You get what I'm saying? I mean, this is like the case almost when there is two conflicting things, right, in a system. I mean, sometimes you gotta hate biology. I mean, this is me, to be honest. Like, not everything that is natural is good. Not everything that is biological, natural is good. Because if we say so, then we fall into the naturalistic fallacy, right? Anyways, let's continue the video.
Unless it was in our immediate environment. But most of don't come from success, right? So when we think about success at an early age, most of us are just getting our success from athletes, right? We don't learn about Black Wall Street, what our ancestors did. We don't learn about Warren Buffett. We don't learn about entrepreneur success. We don't even learn about family success. Most of us don't even come maybe from good families. So we don't have a perception or multiple options of what success is, right? So we learn success from athletes, majority of us, right? So when we think of success, we think of Michael Jordan, we think of Tom Brady, we think of LeBron James, we think of Kobe Bryant, we think of Tiger Woods. And when we think about these things and we attach sports, we attach athletes to success.
Now the problem, like we tend to define success, we tend to limit it in a very few small domains that might be like valuable subjectively, right? But from a broader perspective, calisthenics, there is a certain level of success. Do advanced moves, for example, for most people, if they can do advanced push-ups variations like the Superman push-up, the needle push-up, the handstand push-up, then this might look like success to them. I mean, in other areas like knowledge, if they master a specific field, if they become an expert or a specialist in their field, then they might also be considered as success. So success from a broader sense, from a global sense, I mean success in everything cannot be achieved. So to be relative to what one prioritizes, to what one values. Another problem arises because even if you go by that, right? So I mean, becoming good at what you value, then you consider that success. Even if we define it by that, at what threshold, like for example, you cross, let's say knowledge in a certain domain in physics. At what threshold, if you cross, like for example, you cross a certain threshold in knowledge, then you turn into successful instantly, right? Here you are here, like for example, at a certain level, you are intermediate, advanced, then you cross into advanced, then you are successful. I mean, this is not objective. It depends on the individual. I mean, for some people, you might be successful in certain topic, right? So you might, in the sense of knowledge, you have a lot of knowledge. But for another person, you might not be. I mean, he might be more knowledgeable than you. He might see you as not so much successful. So there is no objective criterion as to at what threshold you become successful. I mean, that's subjective. So this is the problem. Now, if we say, for example, someone has a net worth of $1 million, does that make them successful? I mean, if we compare them to the average population, like net worth, then yeah, I mean, they're way above like, I mean, if we define success as being above average, then the average could be very low. That's the problem. Yeah, they are successful, but the average could be very low. So, I mean, at what, like, for example, like, at how much money, like, if we cross, like, for example, when it comes to net worth, for example, like, if you cross a certain, like, amount of money, at what, which amount of money, if you cross, like, you become successful. Like, is it $1 million? Is it $500,000? Like, what is it? This is where the disagreement is. This is why, like, successful is not fully objective. I mean, like, even if you think that it's easily, like, it's that easy to tell whether someone is successful or not, it really isn't, like, because of this. It's not purely objective.
What also do athletes represent? They represent emotional intensity. They represent fire in my heart. They represent passion. You understand what I'm saying? They represent coming from nothing, turning into something. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why most of us.
Yeah, but a lot of these, like, celebrities, they didn't come from nothing. A lot of them came from rich families. A lot of them, they had opportunities. They live in first world countries. They had good education, so they have a lot of advantages. And a lot of them also use social media, right? They might be attractive. I mean, they might be supported by a lot of people. So, I mean, they might also have been lucky. People tend to underestimate, like, the role of luck in social media, where it has a big role. For example, in the NFL, I think, right? If you were born in January, you are four times more likely to be drafted, I think, or something like that. I mean, this is just goes to show like the role of luck. I mean, people tend to underestimate it, but it's really very important.
Especially melanated people, we try to go to. We don't think about, oh, I want to make a big. We just think NFL, NBA, and if that don't work, we gonna start making music. I mean, like, and that.
Yeah, and some people, they tend to go for crimes and all of that. I mean, yeah, I mean, not everyone, but you get what I'm saying. Like, this is the reality. I'm saying, like.
Because that's what we think success is. Now the problem with this is, let me go ahead and take off my jacket because I'm spitting fire. You know what I mean? Nah, look. The problem with this is
I mean, some
because
kids
we
go to other good jobs. I mean, it depends. When we're talking, like, about, I mean, the stereotypes surrounding, like, the black community, it's usually about, like, being an athlete or being a singer, right? And some also include being a criminal, but I don't agree with that, because, I mean, if you look at studies, like, crime is mostly due to circumstances like poverty, like, you know what I'm saying, like this. So it's not about race; it's about other reasons. I mean, it's mostly about other reasons.
think of success to emotional intensity. We think, oh yeah, when LeBron came back in 2016 from 3-1, we think of passion, we think of emotional intensity. Because of this, right? This is why a lot of us right now, currently today, do not feel as successful as we could be, right? This is why a lot of us don't stick to the process, because the process is not passionate. The process does not give us that emotional fire or emotional intensity, right? When we see athletes win or we see people in general win on social media, we're seeing climax. And we're thinking that for us to be successful, we need to be passionate 24/7. We need to feel intensely about what we're doing 24/7. I need to wake up and just feel motivated. I need to wake up and just feel inspired. I need to be working on my craft, and I need to feel inspired while I'm working on my craft. And this is what leads to burnout. Because all burnout is, it's not a mental thing or it's not a physical thing. It could be overstimulation, but what all burnout is I don't feel like doing this thing because it is not giving me the emotional response that I desire in this moment. I
Think burnout is basically like being exhausted. Like, for example, when it comes to overthinking, you overthink too much that you run out of energy, or when it comes to effort, you do too much effort. I mean, this is that I know. I don't know something else. But when it comes to success, like, specifically, success is mostly a perspective. Even if I don't have anything, if I think of myself as successful, then I am successful. Even if I had everything in the world, if I think of myself as non-successful, I'm not successful. So it's not objective. It's more of a perspective, in my opinion. Because there is no, as I said, there is no objective criterion to determine if someone is successful or not.
Believe that once I turned on, the studio in my house and I started working on music, I believe that I would feel so passionate. I believe that once I started working on this clothing brand, I would feel so passionate. I believe that once I went to this job that I went to college for, I would feel so passionate working this job, but that's not the case. Recently I had noticed personally that my view of success has been very narrow, right? I've been feeling like I'm not as successful as I could be, right? Another thing is I've noticed that most of my passion and most of my intensity when it comes to my career, it comes to life in general, is not even the present moment in itself. I don't get passionate and get intensely about the present moment itself. I've always got passionate and very intensely about my future, right? About where I could be. And
I mean, to be honest, like most of us, let me hear what you said before because
I'm not as
I feel like,
successful as I could be.
yeah, most people feel like that. I mean, you rarely see someone who's actually like pleased with where they are in life. Because for a lot of people, like not being fully satisfied is actually a drive towards working harder, towards doing more effort, towards coming up with new strategies, new effective strategies. But also, like the problem is that if that feeling of unsatisfaction still persists even after reaching a specific goal. So what I genuinely think is that one can, I mean, it's normal to feel unsatisfied, right? Because for a lot of people, it's an actually a drive, but it should just be a drive towards a certain goal. If you reach the certain goal, then you should be satisfied, right? But the problem is that other goals would come in, right? So you were gonna have other goals as well. So should you stay unsatisfied or? I think in this case, like it's better to feel satisfied and do the work, right? And still do the work. Feel satisfied but still do the work. So you shouldn't rely on satisfaction as a drive. To be honest, I mean, even though like yeah, I contradicted what I said earlier because that's what most people do, not what I do, right? This is not what I think. I mean, this is what most people think. Most people tend to like they put in effort like when they feel unsatisfied, right? Because it's a drive, as I said, like the lack of satisfaction is a drive towards working harder to achieve satisfaction. But for me, I'm always satisfied, to be honest. Like I'm not really feeling that unsatisfaction. Yeah, I might be feeling it, but I'm trying to convince myself. I'm trying to perceive myself as satisfied, right? So to see myself as satisfied, even though I'm feeling unsatisfied, if that makes sense. But at the same time, I'm still trying to make effort to achieve my goals. Because this is where the danger is. If you rely on being satisfied, then you might never feel satisfied because there is always more. But if you feel satisfied and still want to push more, then it doesn't matter if you reach the goal or not because reaching that goal is not dependent on like I mean your satisfaction is not dependent on reaching the goal. So you are still satisfied, but you still right. So if that makes sense, but you're still trying to reach the goal. You are doing the effort. It doesn't matter if you reach it or not. You are doing what you can. There are a lot of you get what I'm saying. There are a lot of there's the environment. There is a lot of biological constraints. Not everyone can reach the same like level of success. So there is the environment. Yeah, as I said, there is the luck. There are a lot of things. Some people have psychological problems that prevent them from doing like pushing harder, right? Like stress, anxiety, obsessive thought loops. A lot of these things are really like negatively affect one's effort, like the amount of time they invest. They might have ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, right? They can focus on one thing. They can only like they find it very difficult. Like usually people who have ADHD, they find it very difficult to do things that are necessary, but tend to do like easily do things that are they find interesting. You can for hours, right? The problem is that not everything that is like, I mean, there are many things that are unnecessary but are not guaranteed to be found interesting. For example, in the basics, like in elementary school, mathematics, French, or for example, English, Arabic, right? I mean, like, I mean, a lot of these languages, I mean, like the basics could be essential, right? Because they are used in everyday communication, even if they aren't used, right? So they are used. I mean, I mean, you go to public places, right? You see like a lot of what can I say, sentences written in these languages, right? Information, and to understand that information, you need to know the languages. You need to know the basics. You go to research, right? When you make a research, you tend to research like with a particular language, right? And you have to know the basics. Like, how can you do a research about something without knowing the basics of the language? How to construct phrases? Know like some have some vocabulary. You get what I'm saying? Yes, this is my point, right? So, and a lot of experts in a lot of fields, like scientists, specialists, they didn't find like their topics, what can I say, their fields interesting at first. But once they delved deeper into these fields, they found them. So interest could emerge over time. A lot of people, they don't put in the effort to delve into new things. They don't step out of their comfort zone, and they don't give a chance for that interest to emerge.
Another thing is, I've noticed that most of my passion and most of my intensity when it comes to my career, come to life in general, is not even the present moment itself. I don't get passionate and get intensely about the present moment itself. I've always got passionate and very intensely about my future, right? About
Yeah, to be honest, this is a lot of the one thing that a lot of us do. We tend to care too much about the future, but what the future holds, right? To overthink the future. We tend to analyze all I mean, with the analytical minds, right? When it comes to analytical people, they tend to analyze a lot. They tend to try to map out like all the potential consequences of their actions or their decisions before making anything. And when you tend to try to analyze every aspect, right, every perspective, then there is a risk of falling into this analysis paralysis. You tend to analyze too much that you can't make a decision. I mean, you're struggling to make a decision because you keep analyzing too much. You're stuck in thinking mode rather than action mode. I mean, correlates with high IQ, right? But it's one of the aspects. But the problem is that overthinking alone is not doesn't mean having high IQ. It doesn't is not doesn't correlate with high IQ, because when we say analytical people, they could include philosophers, they could include mathematicians, they could include overthinkers. So the problem is overthinking. If a decision genuinely requires being analytical, it genuinely requires precise thinking before making action, then they could make it. But it's just that the person hasn't to be stuck, hasn't to remain in thinking mode. They have to transition to action mode. Otherwise, they ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah. So the problem with the overthinking, it's about rumination, thinking in loops, thinking about events. Basically, thinking that doesn't lead you anywhere, that doesn't lead to conclusions. You are just stuck in loops. It's not that it doesn't lead to conclusions only, but it doesn't benefit you in any way in the long term. It doesn't deepen your knowledge. It doesn't deepen your understanding or increase your knowledge.
where I could be. And the problem with this is the only thing that is giving me passion and is giving me intensity is where I could be and not where I'm at right now. You're setting yourself up for failure with that mindset, because automatically you are detaching yourself from the present moment and you keep.
Wait, I try to understand what he said. You keep thinking about the future and you neglect the present. You're setting yourself for failure, right? Is the way he said. Why is that the case? Because you're not focusing on the present, is that why? But you can still like think about the future, but at the same time like focus on the present. Unless your focus is completely like directed toward the future, that you ain't doing anything in the present. You're just thinking about the future, but yeah, this is the problem. What I would say is that a person should focus on the present. He should see the future as a direction, while the past as a chance to learn from experiences. Let me see if I heard them right. To be
The only
honest.
thing that is giving me passion and intensity is where I could be and not where I'm at right now. You're setting yourself up for failure with that mindset because automatically you
No,
already
this is not the problem, as I said. The problem is the focus, not the intensity. A lot of people, they are driven by the future. They are driven by the dreams. They are driven by the goals. So the problem is focusing only on the future and neglecting the present. Not just like being driven by the future goals. This is not the problem, because this is what most people do. I mean, they are driven by the future. They tend to think about the goals, right? And this is their drive. They want to have a mansion. They want to have a family. They want to have a lot of wealth. This is the drive, but they are still doing the work in the present.
attaching yourself in the present moment and you keep attaching yourself to a future that is non-existent right now. It's just an imagination, right? And there's nothing wrong with having desires. There's nothing wrong with desiring a better future. But I digress. Let's get to it. I used to think that when I become successful and when I have everything that I want, or, when I achieve something, that I'm going to feel super like, I'm going to feel so passionate about, like, super intensely. Like, yeah, I'm that nigga now. Like, and I thought that is what's going to give me the intensity. That is what's going to give me the passion. It's kind of like a girl. Like, you thought when you finally get the girl that feel super passionate about, like, super intensely. Like, yeah, I'm that nigga now. Like, and I thought that is what's gonna give me the intensity. That is what's gonna give me the passion. It's kind of like a girl. Like, you thought when you finally get the girl that you would feel so intensely about having a girl, but it's not the girl that you love. It's the chase that you love. It's not the success that you love. It's the grind to the success that gave.
No, wait a second, wait. You said that it's not the girl, it's the chase that you love. But is there really like is that like a general rule? Is that really the case? I mean, a lot of people, yeah, they like chasing, right? I mean, they like this. I mean, this act of chasing. It makes them feel good, right? So, but they also like the person they are chasing, because if they were to chase someone who they aren't attracted to, if they force themselves to chase someone they aren't attracted to, then I guarantee you nine times out of ten they won't find the chase attractive. So it's about the chase, but it's about the chase and the person. The chase is only attractive if the person is attractive. This is how it works. Just like for someone, the journey to the gym. The journey to the gym is only valuable if they value the gym, right?
Gave you the passion. And then when you actually got to that's this point, now it's like, wow, like I'm here. And yeah, this is not the girl that you love, it's the chase that you love. It's not the success that you love, it's the grind that gave you the passion. And then
No, bro. If I were to be successful, no, I don't need no. I don't need like in an absolute sense successful at everything. And how can we define success in this case? Let's just say like the top of the top in everything. Then I don't care about the grind, to be honest. It's not really as valuable. Yeah, it is valuable, right? But it's not nearly as valuable as the outcome for me, to be honest. It's more about the outcome. Now this is subjective. This is why I said for a lot of people it matters, like the journey matters, but the destination matters more for me. I'm talking about myself. Just like with the chase with a lot of people, I mean, it matters like chasing a particular girl, but the girl probably matters more than the chase. It's what making the chase possible. It's all making the chase attractive. Just like the gym. If you don't enjoy the gym, then the journey might. You don't enjoy the gym, therefore you are not willing to go to the gym. Let's say.
When you actually got to that success point, now it's like, wow, like I'm here. And yeah, this is not even that good as I thought it would be. It's like, wow. And now because you're not still getting that same dopamine, you're still not getting that same effect. You know what I'm saying? Hypothetically, like you got your nut off, more metaphorically, it's like, wow, it's like this wasn't even all that. But the whole time, you don't realize that what you were after wasn't the success, the physical thing. What you were after was the emotion that the success could bring, right? If I told somebody my life right now,
I mean, yeah, for this there is a lot of truth to this. I mean, for a lot of us, it's about the feeling, right? The feeling of account. It's about that feeling of success, right? But is success a feeling or a state? What is it, to be honest? It's more of a feeling, in my opinion. But you're talking about the emotions that success could bring. So it's more like the feelings, the feeling of success could bring. It brings other feelings. But can a feeling bring other feelings? For example, if you feel happy, does that bring comfort? Maybe, yeah. So I would say it's both about the state, about being at the top of the top, and also about the emotions. But for a lot of us, I mean, for a lot of us, it's more about the emotions. Because a lot of us that we tend to think that if we become successful, then that would automatically bring joy. That would automatically bring positive emotions. But once we become successful, and that doesn't change like it doesn't change our feelings. In that state, it doesn't hold much significance to us. It only has significance because we thought it would bring positive emotions. This is probably why he said that it's about the emotions. But to me, it's about the state and the emotions. It's emotions both. Being at the top, and also about the emotions. Because I could argue that even now I have the emotions, but I'm still not that sad. I'm satisfied, right? I'm satisfied, but to be truly, fully satisfied, because there are degrees to satisfaction. To be truly, fully satisfied, I would say that the state, I want the state of success plus this emotion, these positive emotions associated with success, like joy, comfort, power,
my
you
average
name it.
life, a lot of people, the average person, especially my age, I'm 23 years old, '02, maybe 2002, right? For Fayetteville, North Carolina. If I told somebody my average life right now, they would think that I'm very successful, right? If I told you it, I would be like, yeah, I personally, bro, I'm not even gonna lie, I keep it real. Like, I don't think I'm that successful. I'll just keep it real. That's just like really how I feel. I think I always think to myself, like, it's more that I could be doing. It's I could be way higher than what I am. So if I told you my life, right? I own a herbal holistic supplement company. I make music, right? I have this YouTube. I have two YouTube channels. I have a wife that I'm married to. We've been married for about since what? For about almost 2 years now. I vacation anytime I want. I can literally travel anytime I want. Yo, in 2025 alone, I stayed in like 30 different Airbnbs. I went to like 5 different countries. I went to like so many places in general. Like, and when I go into these places, I always follow business class. So yes, I'm definitely like well off compared to the average person. Like, I don't work at damn McDonald's. I'm not even in debt in college. I have no debt to my name at all. Like, I'm eating for sure. Like, I'm definitely grateful for the position that I'm in. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I gave myself because nobody else gave me an opportunity. I gave that opportunity to myself, right? I didn't have a blueprint. My dad ain't said, yo, bro, you sit down. This how you make videos. Yo, bro, this how you make music. My mom ain't say that. My dad grateful for the position that I'm in. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I gave myself because nobody else gave me an opportunity. I gave that opportunity to myself, right? I didn't have a blueprint. My dad ain't said, yo, bro, you sit down, this how you make videos. Yo, bro, this how you make music. My mom ain't say that. My dad definitely helped me in terms of giving me the inspiration, but nobody else helped me. I had no other help, so I did this myself. I understand that. But if you was to ask me, do I feel successful? I would tell you no. A lot of people already know watching this or just know something about me already thinks like, wow, that's crazy as hell, bro. How you not feel successful, bro? You went here, you did this, bro. You done seen the world. You got a wife. Like, she ain't even like a OnlyFans model or nothing. Like, I already having a wife in this day and age and she's not an OnlyFans model and she helps you with your business and she's not a fucking bird brain. Yo, that's the best success that a man could ask for. You understand what I'm saying? This or just know something about me already thinks like, wow, that's crazy as hell, bro. How you not feel successful, bro? You went here, you did this, bro. You done seen the world. You got a wife. Like, she ain't even like a OnlyFans model or nothing. Like, I already having a wife in this day and age and she's not an OnlyFans model and she helps you with your business and she's not a fucking bird brain. Yo, that's the best success that a man could ask for. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
But
bro,
it's like
this is
still to me,
subjective. This is not success for me, man. Fuck that, man. Fuck them relationships and all of that. It's just draining, man. Like, to be honest, you're just draining energy. Like, all the problems, you gotta take more responsibilities all of a sudden, more problems, more psychological problems, more conflicts. For someone seeking peace, for someone seeking stability, emotional stability, relationships is not an option. And why does it have to be with the opposite gender? Why does it have to be like to conform with your biology? I don't get it. Unless we talk about romantic relationships because or sexual relationships because this one's like you have to go accordingly because you don't choose who you are attracted to sexually romantically. So that makes sense. But it is not a need either. So you can't really force someone to have or say that it's to have a relationship, a romantic sexual relationship with the opposite sex, or tell them that it's a biological necessity because it isn't. There are many people who went semi-retention in their whole fucking lives. They never nutted in their whole fucking lives, so it's not a biological necessity. And I already know what he's about to say, man. This is not success. Families and all that, bro. Like, I'm not contributing to this bullshit, man. Like, I never chose to be here. I mean, there are a lot of ideas that I think, but I don't think I'm allowed to say here. But yeah, let's keep
I
play the
just
video,
still don't
man.
feel successful
Just for
until
me, it's
I
just I would
realize
say
this.
it's just not about not about family. It's not about none of this stuff because that's mentally draining, financially draining. The cost is bigger than the benefit for me. Is outweighs the benefit for me. I don't see no benefit that I can't find the normal human connections with the same sex with people who are interested. I don't care about romance and all of that garbage, man. Fuck out of here. I don't see no benefits that can be found in these dirty ass relationships. They cannot be found in. They cannot be found in genuine like human communications, like in families, like friendships, same-sex friendships, families. I don't see like, and if y'all don't know, like most of these gender like opposite gender relationships, they tend to end, even if they are friendships, they tend to involve like they are more likely to involve emotional connections. You are more likely to turn into romantic love and all of that bullshit. My stomach hurts. I don't get it. Why?
And the reason why I didn't feel successful is because I would attach success to emotion. Like, I would think that, oh yeah, I'm gonna feel successful once I feel very intensely about where I'm at in life and very passionate about where I'm at in life. But what I realized is that's just not the case. right? I changed my perception of success. I changed what I thought success would give me. Success is not supposed to give me intensity. It's not supposed to give me passion. And it's not supposed to give me passion. I'm not even supposed to feel intensely and feel passionately about necessarily what I'm doing. Yes, I definitely love creating. I love creating art. I love creating videos. I love sharing my thoughts. Like, I love doing this. I love traveling. It's a lot of things that I love doing. But it's like, I feel like we put, especially as men, we put too much on success. Like, we think that career and success is like our peak of life. But in reality, my nigga, it's the little shit, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just waking up and I'm able to chill with my wife that I know. And I keep it real. Like, I know for a fact I ain't even doing nothing with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to flex on somebody. I'm not even one of those dudes that be like, oh yeah, yo, it's just your turn right now. Like, yo, shit happen, bro. Some shit might happen. Separation might happen. That's cool. But
Yeah, this is the problem. Like in the West, bro, like a lot of these, you'll have a lot of hoes and stuff, man. These promiscuous women, man, they tend to have a lot of sexual partners. I mean, that's their business, right? But I'm not saying like why they do this, why they do that. I mean, they can do whatever the fuck they want. The real problem is that when they turn to commit or pretend to commit and then they cheat. Right? So this is the problem. Being promiscuous within a relationship, not being loyal. I mean, they can't be trusted. Even football, like stars, like football, soccer players, right? Basketball players, they get cheated on. So what about the average? This is ridiculous. Everyone's getting cheated on there, man. Fucking fucked up society, like. Especially in America, like the society is so fucked up, man. The West is so fucked up. You're giving these hoes too much attention, like, which leads to hoe inflation, right? So this is no wonder why the egos are so big. You know, I mean, this is not this is not the only reason, but it's one part of the reason. Because you'll treat them like they are queens, like treat them like these hoes. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about all women. I'm talking about hoes because there's a difference, right? Hoes within a relationship, it's different from a hoe outside the relationship because there is commitment. You are supposed to be loyal, right? But in a lot of times there's this commitment that doesn't turn out to be real, and this is the problem. Now you're talking about separation. The fact that you are talking about separation, about a possibility of separation, means that you might imply like that you fear it, and this fear might imply that you know damn well that your society is fucked up. That someone that you married to, that someone that you committed to, right, who committed to you might leave you. You know, you've seen like famous people, they be like they're being cheated on. You saw that, right? And you know that you are vulnerable to it as well. I mean, this is a problem with society. That's not really your problem. I mean, you can do your part, right? You can try to stay loyal. You can try to provide. You can try to, but you can't control other people. So, I mean, why are you committed to this bullshit, anyways? If you ask me, I mean, because this is the worst thing that one can do in this marriage bullshit. Like, especially in 2026. I mean, no one who values like their emotional stability. I don't know why I'm talking in absolutism today in this life, but I mean, most people who value their emotional stability, most people like who, what can I say, like they don't want conflicts, they don't want all these psychological problems, they don't want to take more responsibility than they already have. I mean, this is part of peace, this is part of having a good emotional stability. I mean, they wouldn't go for these relationships or this marriage. I mean, relationships maybe, but I'm talking about marriage specifically. Because it's so stressful, right? There's a possibility of divorce, there's a possibility of losing your money, right? Of losing your resources. I mean, you have to split your resources, you have to. I get the idea, right?
I'm talking about for right now in the moment. Nah, we both loyal, everything going good. It's like, and then we about to have kids, we about to move. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of good things happen for me in my life. And you would think, like, damn, like, bro, you should be happy as fuck. And I realize it's like, I'm not happy, or I wouldn't even say not happy. I'm not very intense and passionate about where I'm at in life right now because I keep looking towards my potential. And I made this video to say, fuck your potential.
And so am I. We tend to subconsciously think of being the best, right? We tend to we want to be the best in everything. Well, I want to be the best in everything. Subconsciously. But consciously, I know that this is not possible because there will always be someone who's better than me in a particular thing. So the realistic goal becomes, instead of try to be the best at everything, try to be better than yourself. Try to be better than yourself yesterday. So it's about self-improvement, not about comparison. I wish I could be the top of the top, but this is not realistic, especially in everything. I mean, there are biological individual limits, right? So I mean, there are biological limits one could achieve, yeah, right? And there are individual limits, right? So I mean, what one particular individual might achieve, like their potential, their max potential in a particular field, might be more than your particular than your max potential. So one should not ignore these differences. And they might have better environments. They might have less problems, psychological problems. They might have less physical problems. I mean, they could have advantages as well, right? So these are advantages. This is why comparison is unfair. Not only unfair in this sense, but it can lead to feelings of unsatisfaction if one is associating satisfaction with it. Feelings of low self-worth. If one associates their self-worth with surpassing other people should be a goal one aims at to become better. That pushes them to become better, right? A drive to become better. Once reached, I mean, you aim to become better than a particular person, and you think that is realistic, and you do the effort, right? And that realistic depends on how much effort you do, and the level of that person. Because if a person is an expert musician and you barely do music, then it might be unrealistic to surpass that particular person. So it depends on your perceived potential, on the effort that you make, and the person you're comparing yourself to. This is what realistic depends on. It could be achievable, right? It could sometimes not, but you shouldn't associate your worth with it. Surpassing a particular person, yeah, it should be a name. Surpassing a person should be a goal that should push you harder, right? But it should not. Your self-worth or satisfaction should not depend on it.
Fuck a potential. Fuck, I don't give a fuck what my potential look like. And I feel like a lot of us, we keep looking towards our potential instead of accepting where we're at right now. Sometimes you got to realize that what you think your potential is, you're supposed to surpass that anyway. Like, I think that my potential is here whole time. If I say fuck my potential and I just focus on the current moment, then I'll surpass my potential of what I could even imagine.
Can you really surpass your potential? Because your max potential is the one that defines you, it defines what you can achieve, not the other way around. You cannot achieve more than your max potential because your max potential is the one that defines what you can achieve. And you can't break it. I mean, yeah, it depends on the environment, it depends on a lot of things. Unless we are talking specifically about the environment. I mean, if for example you're in a bad environment, you want to learn, right? You don't have much opportunities. There are no libraries, there are no schools, you have to move out. Your max potential in that area in that environment could be less than if you move to a country where there are a lot of schools, there are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of libraries. So your max potential there could be higher. So what do you mean by surpassing your potential? Like, I mean, changing the environment. I mean, does the potential only depend on the environment, but on the effort as well? It depends on the effort as well, right? So it's not stable. Your max potential is not stable. unless we say like we talk about the absolute max potential given like ideal conditions, but these ideal conditions cannot be achieved in terms of financial level, in terms of opportunities, in terms of environment, lack of distractions. They cannot be achieved as just like an idea, right? It's just an abstract idea, but you cannot have like ideal conditions. So he's talking about does no getting back to the initial point. Does the your max potential define you, or you define your max potential? Now that I'm thinking about it, absolute max potential. I was thinking about the absolute max potential. But the max potential, I mean, yeah, you define your max potential. I mean, if we talk about from a non-strict sense, if we talk about the max potential, you define your max potential. Because if you change these variables, the environment, the effort, the opportunities, right? The opportunities given the environment, the mood, your mood, which also helps your mentality, then your potential could be higher.
You know what I mean? Since we're talking about sports and earlier, right? Everybody knows Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? If I'm saying his name right, everybody know my nigga Giannis. You know what I mean? If you know basketball, you know NBA. Everybody knows Giannis. Giannis, when he first came into the league, 2013, or I think it was 2014. Giannis. Yo, nobody expected Giannis to be where he's at right now. I don't even think Giannis himself expected for him to be where he at right now, right? And I feel like Giannis in his mind wasn't thinking, yo, I'm trying to reach my potential. Giannis was just thinking, yo, I'm trying to become better every single day. I'm trying to focus on the little things, just get better every single day. Now, fast forward, this nigga's an all NBA player. He's a fucking championship ring owner. It's like, come on, bro. It's like, you can't, nobody even expected. Yo, nobody expected Giannis to be where he's at right now. I don't even think Giannis himself expected for him to be where he at right now, right? And I feel like Giannis in his mind wasn't thinking, yo, I'm trying to reach my potential. Giannis was just thinking, yo, I'm trying to become better every single day. I'm trying to focus on the little things, just get better every single day. Now, fast forward, this nigga's an all NBA player. He's a fucking championship ring owner. It's like, come on, bro. It's like, you can't. Giannis was just thinking, yo, I'm trying to become better every single day. I'm Giannis to be where he's at right now. I don't even think Giannis himself expected for him to be where he at right now, right? And I feel like Giannis in his mind wasn't thinking, yo, I'm trying to reach my potential. Giannis.
No, this is the mind reading fallacy, right? You're assuming that he wasn't thinking that. But do you have any evidence for that? I'm trying to reach my potential.
Was just thinking, yo, I'm trying to become better every
Who
single day.
told you he
I'm trying
didn't
to
think
focus on the
that?
little things, just get better every single day. Now, fast forward, this nigga's an all NBA player. He's a fucking championship ring owner. It's like, come on, bro.
Because
It's
I
like,
thought about
you can't.
their way. I mean,
Nobody even expected him to do that, you know. And I see myself in that regard. Like, I've already surpassed not even just my early expectations, but nobody even people from my city, yo, bro. It's people that don't even know that. It's people that didn't even expect me to be doing the little things that I'm doing right now, let alone anything that I'm dreaming of doing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to you so you can realize that too. It's like, you might be watching this shit and you might be so hard on yourself because you think that being hard on yourself is gonna make you get to where you want to be. You keep relying on your potential to give you motivation and your potential to give you some type of inspiration when in reality, fuck your potential. Do what you need to do every single day because success is not given to the person that is the most intense and the most emotional. Success is given.
no, it is given sometimes. I mean, there are a lot of people. I mean, all these NBA players who are at the top, they work hard, right? They focus on intensity. I mean, they train hard, right? So, I mean, right. So at the same time, they are consistent. They follow good strategies. I mean, they don't just train. They have plans, right? So they know what to train today. You know what to train the next day. You get what I'm saying? They have coaches that guide them. They tell them what to do. They have good nutrition. They have a lot of things. And a lot of these people are highly emotional. I mean, not highly emotional in the sense that they are easily hurt. So, this is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they are driven by lots of emotion, pride, ambition, belief, right? So there's a lot of emotion behind it, and it's driving them. It's a drive for them to do what it takes to achieve their goals.
Given to the person that shows up every single day. Helicopter flying through. Once again, is not given to the person that is the most intense. Success is given to the person that shows up every single day, right? And this is why I started off the video by saying.
Now this is where I disagree, because success is about consistency, yeah, but it's also about intensity. I mean, if you want to reach greater heights, you have to increase in intensity. You have to increase in efficiency. You have to like adapt better strategies. You have to update your strategies. I mean, when you reach like higher levels, for example, in physics, you tend to study physics. I mean, at a certain point, like, I mean, you have to be consistent, right? But you have to, if you want to reach the top, you have to be also like hard working. You have to focus on intensity as well. If you want to reach the top of the top, yeah, you have to have a good strategy, but also you have to do the effort. Think of the effort as the hard work. Think of it as the the fuel that allows you to move. This is hard work. It's the effort, it's the consistency, it's the discipline. Whereas smart work is the compass. It's the compass that sets your direction. With only fuel, then you might not. I mean, if you only move in without a direction, then you might not reach, with a clear direction. You might not reach your goal. At least not in an efficient, in a reasonable time. But if you only have a compass, if you only have the direction, but you don't head towards the direction, or you go, or the direction is too far, but instead of going by a plane or by a car, you go on foot. Then you might reach, but it might take you way longer. So it's inefficient. This is why you have to combine between hard work and smart work, in my opinion.
And that we learn our early perception of success from athletes. Newsflash, we ain't athletes no more, okay? I'm not going to the NBA. I'm not going to the NFL. I'm not about to be an MMA fighter. As entrepreneurs, as people that's just trying to make a living and get by, as people that's trying to bring new things into this world, that's trying to create a legacy for themselves, being intense every single day is not going to do anything but burn us out, right?
I say what I say. I mean, yeah, for some people it's burning night. It's not about being intense every day. Like, yeah, it's about being intense, but knowing when to be intense and knowing when not. But you can't really get rid of intensity completely, as at a certain level, I mean, to compete with others, right? At a higher level, you have to be both intense and efficient at the same time. Anyway, so this is it, man. Thanks. My stomach hurts. I made this quick, man. This life quick. Anyways, that's it. I think 1 hour. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new.